GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning. A 16-year-old was arrested for sexual offenses at a day camp in Montreal, and police are expanding an AI surveillance network that's raising privacy concerns. Expect heavy traffic on the main routes and a rooftop comedy show tonight. Right, Ryan?
The Canadiens have signed forward Sasha Pastujov to a one-year, two-way contract for the 2026-2017 season.
He joined Montreal from the Anaheim Ducks as part of the agreement announced earlier this week.
The deal includes a two-way salary structure, allowing him to move between the NHL and AHL as needed.
All right, let's get into it and see what's happening across Montreal this morning as we start the day. Here are our top stories. Montreal police have arrested a 16-year-old employee of a community day camp in Ahuntsic-Cartierville for multiple sexual offenses involving 3 minor victims, occurring on August 13th. Jesse Cartier has the full story.
Police say a 16-year-old was taken into custody Thursday after investigators said he committed multiple sexual offenses against 3 younger campers at a community day camp in the Ahuntsic-Cartierville borough. Officers arrived at the site on the afternoon of August 13th, spoke with camp staff and the teen, who had been working as a helper there, and then placed him under arrest. The investigation is ongoing, and detectives are gathering statements from the 3 victims and their families. No further arrests have been made, and the camp remains closed while authorities complete their inquiry. The police department has not released additional details at this time. Jesse Cartier, GMNA News, Ahuntsic.
Police are quietly extending an artificial intelligence surveillance system across the island, adding new cameras and license plate readers that can track both vehicles and pedestrians in real time. The expansion, announced early this morning by the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal, builds on an existing network already used for traffic enforcement and crime prevention. Critics say the move deepens the city's data collection footprint and raises unanswered questions about how footage will be stored, who can access it, and what oversight will govern its use. The department has not released details on the technology's capabilities or any public consultation process. Civil rights groups are urging the mayor's office and provincial authorities to demand greater transparency before the system becomes fully operational. Privacy advocates warn the unchecked expansion could infringe on constitutional rights and may prompt legal challenges.
New research from the University of Sherbrooke, using coroner reports, shows a dramatic rise in mortality among Quebec's homeless population between 2020 and 2024. Deaths of women experiencing homelessness more than doubled, climbing by over 200%. Overall, more than 1/3 of all homeless deaths occurred while the individuals were in hidden homelessness, meaning their precarious situation was not recorded at the time of death. The study highlights that many of those who die are not counted in official homelessness statistics, obscuring the true scale of the crisis. Researchers urge policymakers to improve data collection and targeted support, while the coroner's office calls for greater awareness of hidden homelessness risks. The findings add urgency to ongoing debates about housing, health services, and prevention strategies across the province.
A revised power sharing pact at the Churchill Falls hydro plant lifts Quebec's electricity allocation by 40% and nearly doubles generation capacity for both provinces. Jesse Cartier has the full story.
At the Churchill Falls complex today, officials from Quebec and Newfoundland and Labrador signed a revised power sharing pact. The new deal lifts Quebec's share of the hydro output by 40%, while the total generation capacity for both provinces is set to roughly double. The agreement, finalized on August 14, 2026, expands the amount of electricity flowing south from the Labrador plant, which has long supplied power under a decades-old contract. Engineers say the increased output will be integrated into existing transmission lines, and provincial ministries indicated the boost aligns with regional energy plans. The ceremony was marked by a brief exchange of signatures and a joint statement outlining the mutual benefits of the expanded arrangement. Jesse Cartier, GMNA News, Churchill Falls.
The Réseau Express Métropolitain has launched its first automated low-speed test trains on the future branch that will link the rapid transit network to Montreal Trudeau Airport. The trial runs began this week, with the trains circulating on the newly laid tracks as engineers monitor performance and safety systems. This phase marks the first step toward completing the airport segment, which the agency aims to finish by the end of 2027. The REM, already operating across the island and surrounding suburbs, will add the airport connection to its growing web of stations, offering a direct, electric ride for travelers and reducing reliance on road traffic. The new branch will link downtown to the airport in under 30 minutes, easing congestion. Officials say the automated tests will run through the coming months, fine-tuning the technology before full service launches. Later we'll hear how a downtown stabbing led to a teen's arrest, and what that means for community safety. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Police announced Tuesday that a 17-year-old youth was taken into custody following a stabbing in the downtown core. The incident occurred near the intersection of St. Laurent and Peel Streets, a busy pedestrian zone. The suspect is accused of attacking a 16-year-old boy, who was hospitalized with serious injuries before being released to recover. Officers from the Montreal Police Service said the arrest came after a swift investigation that included witnesses and forensic evidence. Detectives emphasized that the case forms part of a broader probe into a rise in violent incidents across the city's central district. A police spokesperson said the department will keep the public informed as the case develops. The investigation remains ongoing as authorities continue to examine patterns of street violence in recent months and assess preventative measures, while coordinating with community partners.
College de Maisonneuve students can schedule a quarter-price listening session with a senior mentor, offering advice and shared concerns. The program launches Thursday, August 13th. Denise Lariviere has the full story.
On the campus of College de Maisonneuve, a modest table has become a meeting point for students seeking a listening ear from the community's seniors. Each participant signs up for a quarter-long session, paying a symbolic 25 cents to sit down with an elder mentor. The fee covers a brief, one-on-one conversation where students can voice concerns, ask for life advice, or simply share stories, while the older volunteer offers perspective drawn from decades of experience. Organizers say the low cost removes barriers, encouraging more young people to reach out and build intergenerational connections. The program runs throughout the semester, with slots filling quickly as word spreads across campus. Denise Lariviere, GMNA News, Montreal.
Drivers are being warned that a series of parking spaces will disappear across the island as the city prepares for the World Cycling Championships. Beginning at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, the municipality will close spots on major streets near the race routes, with additional removals scheduled throughout the weekend. Officials say the adjustments are essential to create safe corridors for the elite cyclists and to keep traffic flowing. Motorists are asked to plan alternative routes, use public transit or BIXI, and to exercise patience while the temporary changes are in effect. The city has posted signage and online maps showing the affected zones, and police will monitor compliance. Local businesses near the closures have been advised to adjust deliveries accordingly. These measures are expected to remain in place until the championships conclude later in the week.
Yesterday, the Quebec government unveiled a 12-month pilot at the Roberval Detention Centre aimed at curbing contraband inside the prison. Under the new rule, every inmate will be issued a standardized uniform that must be worn at all times, replacing the varied clothing previously allowed. Officials say the uniform system will make it harder for prohibited items such as drugs, weapons, and cell phones to be smuggled in through visitors, staff, or work programs. The pilot will run for a full year, after which the ministry will assess whether the approach reduces illegal flows and consider broader rollout across the province's correctional network. Prison administrators stressed that the measure is part of a wider effort to tighten security and protect both staff and detainees from the risks associated with hidden contraband.
Quebec says it may stay unbound by the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade pact, with Minister Skeet warning federal talks with the United States could sideline provincial interests. Marion Catay has the full story.
Quebec officials said today they may formally declare the province unbound by the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade pact, known as ACUM, as federal talks with Washington progress. Minister Skeet told reporters the province is closely watching the direction of the ongoing Canada-U.S. negotiations and fears the new terms could undermine Quebec's economic autonomy. Premier Freichet's government reiterated its right to remain outside any updated agreement, urging Ottawa to consider provincial interests before signing any revisions. The statement comes amid a flurry of diplomatic activity in Washington, where American and Canadian teams are finalizing changes to the trilateral trade framework. Quebec's move signals a willingness to assert its own trade stance separate from the federal agenda. Marion Catay, GMNA News, Montreal.
Let's get a look at your morning forecast with our meteorologists today.
A deepening high over the province and a swift western jet dictate a dry, steady August Thursday. On this date, the city's all-time heat mark sits at 30.1 Celsius, set in 2024 when a persistent ridge forced temperatures into the mid-30s for a week-long heat wave. The cold counterpart is 12 Celsius, recorded in 2014 during an Arctic dip that plunged the St. Lawrence Valley under a sharp high-pressure ridge. By comparison, the climatological August average hovers near 24 Celsius for highs and 16 for lows, making today's forecast comfortably below the historic extremes. Zooming into the live mosaic, the echo screen is blank across the province. No rain bands, no snow, just clear returns. The absence of precipitation ties directly to the high pressure that's building from the northwest, capping ascent and suppressing clouds. With the fast western jet overhead steering any moisture far to the Atlantic, we expect the city to stay dry through the day. At 7 a.m., the city sits at 14 Celsius under a clear dome, humidity near 87%, and a light northwest breeze of 9 kilometers per hour. A high-pressure ridge is rising, sealing the lower troposphere and keeping temperatures modest. Overhead, a swift western jet streak of 223 kilometers per hour slices through the mid-levels, ventilating the column and preventing any lift that could spawn clouds. Temperatures will climb steadily, reaching a high of 26 Celsius by mid-afternoon before easing to 21 as the sun dips. The UV index registers 6, and the strongest gusts will top 22 kilometers per hour from the west. No precipitation is forecast, and there are no active weather alerts. Looking ahead, the high-pressure core will linger through Friday, delivering a clear sky and a gentle climb to 22 Celsius with an overnight low of 12. Saturday remains similar, the sun persisting while temperatures edge slightly lower to 21, still dropping to 12 after dark. Sunday the ridge weakens as a shortwave trough drifts east, inviting moist on-shore flow that raises cloud cover and brings a 50% chance of rain. The day will peak at 24 before the showers taper, and the night will stay mild around 16. Monday the pattern re-establishes a modest ridge, yielding mainly clear conditions and a warm high of 25 with a low near 17. Tuesday continues the warm spell, 25 maximum and a comfortable low of 18, under largely clear skies. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, we break down heavy traffic snarls, preview tonight's rooftop comedy, and recap the Canadiens' latest signing. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Morning commuters, a major blockage on autoroute Descaries between the interchange and Rue Jean Talon is snarling traffic eastbound. Expect stop-and-go conditions and delays of at least 15 minutes through the Descaries corridor. Adding to the slowdown, Autoroute 15 is closed at Hyde Avenue near Plamondon, forcing drivers onto local streets and the Autoroute 15 detour route. The closure creates bottlenecks on Rue St. Laurent and Boulevard St. Laurent, so plan extra time. On the east side, the Anjou interchange on Autoroute 40 is under a major hindrance heading east, backing up traffic toward the highway's eastern exit. Likewise, exit 78 at Boulevard Langelier remains heavily impacted, with queues spilling onto the boulevard. Between Boulevards Lacordaire and St. Mitchell, a major obstruction is causing long lines, especially during the morning rush. Minor issues persist at the Laurentides interchange on the western Autoroute 40 and on Boulevard Louis-Hippolyte Lafontaine, but they are moving slower than usual. Transit runs on schedule with no reported delays.
The International First Peoples Festival lights up Place des Festivals today, celebrating Indigenous music, dance, food, and a bustling bazaar, perfect for families and anyone looking to experience vibrant cultural renaissance. Local artisans showcase centuries-old traditions. On the rooftop of Musique tonight, the Montreal Comedy Festival brings a night of stand-up comedy, offering fresh laughs under the summer sky. Grab a seat before it fills. Enjoy a taste of Montreal's comedy scene as the city unwinds. Cirque du Soleil's current production tour the city, with shows at venues like Place des Arts, delivering world-class acrobatics and storytelling for all ages. The mix of music, tech, and daring feats makes it a summer highlight. The Lasso Festival kicks off tomorrow at Parc Jean Drapeau, a two-day country music hoedown with Thomas Rhett and Mumford & Sons, Boots, big stage hits, and high-energy sets that keep you moving. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Training camp is weeks away, and the Canadiens are already making noise. Juraj Slavkovsky is the talk of Slovakia this summer, and rightfully so. He is claimed Slovakian Hockey Player of the Year for the fourth time, and the village of Budimir has named him its first-ever honorary citizen. The accolades off the ice reflect a player whose standing in this league keeps rising. The Canadiens have locked up forward Sasha Pastujov on a one-year, two-way deal for 2026 to 2027. Acquired from Anaheim, Pastujov now enters training camp with something to prove. A two-way structure means he has to earn a roster spot, exactly the kind of position battle that sharpens a young forward. Kent Hughes is not done. A trade in September or October remains on the table if the right partner surfaces. The Canadiens' front office has built enough depth to feel confident without a deal, but Hughes is clearly keeping his options open as camp approaches and the roster picture sharpens. Camp opens soon, and this roster is far from finished being built.
Thanks, Tyler. Lambert & Phil's, the family-run bakery and specialty food shop on St. Laurent in Mile End, has been a morning ritual for neighborhood residents for over 3 decades. Known for its crusty sourdough, flaky croissants, and a curated selection of imported cheeses, the shop sources many key ingredients from the United States. New U.S. tariffs on those imports have raised costs sharply, forcing the owners to consider price hikes and to trim the variety of artisanal products they can carry. For a community that gathers over coffee and fresh pastries, the squeeze threatens a beloved daily habit and could erode the local food culture. That's why Lambert and Fils matters to Montreal. It turns a simple bite into a shared memory of the city's neighborhood spirit. Stay tuned as we uncover why police removed a surveillance camera and the cyclist attack that seriously injured an elderly man.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Montreal police removed a portable flock surveillance camera hours after its presence was reported in a news article, following its use in an ongoing investigation. Denis Lariviere has the full story.
Police from the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal deployed a portable flock surveillance unit as part of an ongoing investigation on August 12, 2026. The camera was positioned in a public area of the city, and within a few hours of a media report identifying its presence, officers removed the device. Officials said the removal was routine following the report, and no further details about the investigation were released. The brief deployment marks another instance of the SPVM using mobile cameras that have appeared in other Canadian jurisdictions. The equipment has now been taken down, and the streets returned to their usual monitoring routine. Denis Lariviere, GMNA News, Montreal.
An elderly man in his 60s sustained a serious head injury after a cyclist assaulted him in Montreal, fleeing before police arrived. Authorities are investigating the incident. Philippe Nadeau has the full story.
An elderly man in his 60s lies in a Montreal hospital with a serious head wound after a cyclist struck him on a downtown street on Saturday. Witnesses say the rider approached the man, delivered a forceful blow, and then sped away before police could intervene. Officers arrived to find the victim unconscious, bleeding from the scalp, and the suspect already gone. Paramedics rushed him to the nearest trauma center, where doctors say his condition is critical but stable. Detectives are canvassing the area, reviewing security footage, and urging anyone with information to come forward. The investigation remains ongoing. The incident has sparked concern among riders about safety on pathways. Philippe Nadeau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us this morning. Today's conversation about the new Churchill Falls deal, boosting Quebec's power supply, highlighted the province's growing energy landscape. Stay tuned for more insight tomorrow as we continue bringing you the stories that shape our city. Have a wonderful day.